It's the show of the week.
Hello and welcome back to Show of the Week. You know, I am a sucker for a whodunit, and I think this week's Show of the Week, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, scratches that itch very well, but, well, there's a bit of a catch. The Mystery of Edwin Drood started life as a Charles Dickens novel. It's actually the last novel Dickens ever wrote, due in no small part to the fact that he suffered a stroke while writing it. Being a mystery novel puts us in an interesting situation. Dickens never finished the work, and so we don't actually know who did it. Several authors throughout the years have tried to finish Dickens's novel, starting from almost the moment he died when his son stepped in to do it, but this musical, well, it's a little different too. The musical itself is meta-theatrical. It's written to be performed as if in an English music hall. All the actors are talking about the parts they play, but most interesting about the meta-theatricality is that the audience is called upon to vote on the ending. Not only does the audience get to vote on who murdered Edwin Drood, they also get to vote on the identity of the mysterious Dick Datchery and which two characters become lovers at the end. Because all good pieces of musical theater need to end with a love song. This means that on any particular night, almost any of the characters can be chosen as the murderer and ends up with their own set of songs at the end of the show. And each one of the songs that each character sings is entirely different. Writing all these endings was of course a lot of work for songwriter Rupert Holmes. Holmes is interesting in this musical in the fact that he wrote the music, the lyrics, the book, and all the orchestrations. There's not a lot of other musicals that are like that. What I find most interesting about this show, beyond its great songs and very interesting plot devices, is the discussions that often spring about where it stands on the line between novelty and art. You start with a very convoluted authorship line between Dickens's original piece and all the authors that have taken that work since, plus Holmes's contribution in the form of the musical, and add in even the audience's contribution, the fact that they get to vote. You get for, well, a piece of art that belongs to a whole bunch of people at once. And granted, it's a piece of art that very overtly does not take itself very seriously. Being set in the motif of an English music hall sets up yourself with all sorts of sexual puns and alcoholic characters and just a lot of lowbrow humor that is very hard to qualify and call high art. And yet, on the other hand, there's absolutely a plot happening underneath it all, which, you know, art has plot, right? Moral of the story is, I guess I do think this piece of musical theater qualifies as art, if just barely, despite what some internet commentators have said to the contrary. Whatever the case, it does walk a very fine line between art and a bunch of people just singing at each other in a theater. That in mind, you should definitely go listen to it. If you want to, it's really easy. All you gotta do is click on that Spotify playlist link down there. I update that playlist every week, and you can listen to a new show every week there, and then you can hear me babble about it right here, on the internet, in the YouTubes. That's fun, right? Maybe. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye! There's also a really weird 1980s music video version of one of the songs from the show. I guess it comes from a time where when you released a single version of a song from a musical, you needed to do a music video to go with it, because it was VH1, and that was where it's at, right? And maybe because Rupert Holmes was the guy who wrote the Pina Colada song. One of those things.